In this tutorial, we're going to talk about manipulating the saved searches, how they work, and how they're set up. I hope at this point you've already saved a couple searches and created a fake person or yourself as the recipient of these searches for the notifications. We're going to talk a lot more about that. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to create a search. Remember, residential, quick, active, price point, 250 to 325. I'm going to use the map search criteria again, and I choose a polygon because I really want to map it out fairly well. Okay, so I made a mistake on that, which is kind of important. Let's show you how to fix it. Make a mistake, delete it, start over again. So we selected polygon. And one more try. So I'm in the drawing mode, which also happens, and I've created the shape that I'm interested in. That's with this room where I was able to do that, so we're all set. This is my search, and I'll click on my results. On this search, I'm going to select all of these, and now I'm going to save this search like so. And now I can save this as a new search, which is just for my own reference, or I can save it as a new auto email search, which is going to email somebody. So we're going to do that. I'm going to click on new auto email, and I will save it. I'm going to send it to myself. Now, this was formatted enabled because it collected. I definitely want to BCC me because this is actually a fictitious email address. Philbeck Homes doesn't exist anymore. I want to send that to me directly, and the subject is so it says George Philbeck's options subject or Cypress Springs. Guys, down here, read this. You can change this. This is your beginning message, and you'll do that in the settings involvement down here when you get to it. They'll teach you how to do that in class, but know that you can. You have a welcome email, and you also have a reoccurring email. Change those so they do whatever you like. You can set it up however you want. It'll show your signature, which you'll also be able to edit right here. I would encourage you to, after we're done with this lesson, to please go do that. Here's the criteria that we've set up. It's active in Florida, and we did a map search around there. Now, concierge mode means you have to approve them before you set them. I would be careful with this. Also, on the customer displays, the customers get to see the customer synopsis. That's the right one. You can select additional ones to show them. Please don't. They don't need it. And you have to be careful you can't send a broker synopsis. As we spoke about earlier, for me, because I'm looking to buy a home in this area, I'm going to select I want it ASAP. As soon as a home comes available, I'll get an email because I blind CC'd it, and so will my subject, who is George Philbeck. Of course, that's me, you know what I mean. And they'll get one, and I know that it's George Philbeck's option for Cypress Springs. So hopefully I've created a nice email template in this for my welcome and my reoccurring. And every time a property comes on, George will get one and I'll get one. So we can look together. I can see what they've sent, and I can call them and say, hey, that one came on the market. That's pretty neat. I really like that. So the trick is make sure their name is in their search and make sure that you're BCC'd so that you know what they're seeing. This can get very hectic when you're dealing with 10 or 15 buyers, but it's very important to know what's available. Now, the different kinds of searches, and we're going to cover that as well. This is a buyer search, which we've just created. And I've set this up, and I click Save. So now, let's go back into Matrix, and we're going to go to Auto Email. So in the Auto Email, we can search by... I'll type in my last name because it's attached to me. And see where it says George Philbeck's options? I can click on this. And I can delete it. And I'm going to do that. and ask if it's okay on purpose. But I can also see all the searches I have set up. So let's say I was looking in 6 or 8 different places. I can put those searches together for them. And every time they get an email on those places, I can get it. Here's a footnote. If you're going to set up 6 or 7 searches for somebody and you're going to set it up where every single time they've got 6 or 7 emails, be careful not to do it on ASAP. You might want to do that every morning. The reason for it is they're going to get a whole lot of emails, and that can get a little bit overwhelming. We want to respect our clients, so use your best judgment on that one. So back to our searches. We found the emails attached to Philbeck. I searched by there. I can also search, go back to this. I'm going to go to auto email. I can search by, let's see, Cypress Springs. Anybody that had a search that has Cypress Springs in the name, it's going to come up. So it's very robust in the search mechanisms. So back to Matrix, we've covered how the auto email works. Saved searches. If I'm doing evaluation for somebody, by the way, I always save it with CMA at the very, very first part of it. So these are all the properties I've valued over the years. There's actually more than that, but these are the ones that are left. And folks, I save these on purpose with a CMA in the category, CMA, address, last name, and then the date. I encourage you to use the same thing when you're doing a valuation for a property. It gives you its comparative market analysis based on the properties available. So this was done a long time ago. Let's click on it. I'm going to click on the results and look at this. I go back to my report screen, which is the grid report, and that was right up on top. Here's all the properties that are active, pending, and sold that fit those criteria. And the criteria is, this is important, it's still only 180 days back from right now. So it's any property that's active, pending, and sold. And you'll notice it's in the exact same map area. That happens to be where I was at with them. And those are the results. So I have a very, very constant, up-to-date CMA for this property or for Cypress Springs whenever I need it. I love seeing this property at that price point because that's right next to my house. And let's go back to my matrix. We did the sold and then the sent emails. It'll tell you what was sent and the date it was sent. Like this one was Doug Wilson. We sent him an update this morning. You can see what was sent out to your clients. This is all about the saved. These saved searches, these CMA or the emails that you send out, this is the lifeblood of how we communicate with our clients. Once we're engaged with them and we're searching for homes or we're valuing their property because we're going to list a home too. You're going to learn more about this in the MLS training, but I thought it was really important to give you a great overview. And I want you to create a couple emails for yourself with areas that you might be interested in, or if you want to, have some fun. Pick $2 million plus homes in Windermere just for the heck of it. Or pick an area where you think you're going to end up doing a fair amount of farming too. If it's around your neighborhood, if you live in Longwood, pick Longwood. If you live in East Orlando, pick an area in your area at East Orlando. But start to get to know what's going on around you in your community. I think it's real important. All right, guys, I hope that helped. More training to come.